what inspired you to do this story? There's so many stories out there you could choose. How did you find this one, and what was the journey for you in that process?
Well, Charlie Walker and I have a mutual friend, Bill O'Keefe, who became the executive producer of the film. And Charlie had written this book, and he always entertained the thought of maybe his book could be a film. And Hollywood, in Charlie's words, weren't interested in making a film about a black trucker in San Francisco. They had other things on their mind. There were too many stories about, Middle America or West Coast, East Coast, North, South America. They just, the typical story of all the great known actors. And he also found that people sort of weren't interested in an African-American lead actor. It was like, well, there's no audience and those films don't travel, right? What's that word? It's like, they don't travel. They don't do foreign. And we didn't care about any of that because we're making an indie film. We're doing this with our own money. We're doing this, away from all that sort of pollution. And I just felt like I had a lot in common with Charlie Walker. We're both girl dads. We got daughters. Our wives are the boss. We work for them. We want to go out and be our own boss. But at the end of the day, we know why we do what we do. Yeah. And so we became friends. And in doing so, he became my boss and entrusted me to tell his story.
What was it about Charlie that you think was so intriguing that this quality in him that just made things happen? What was that drive, do you think, that it came from?
So Charlie is a great lesson for anybody and everybody who is an entrepreneur and wants to be their own business. It's persistence. That man has heard no more time. He's older than me, right? So he's heard no more than any of us. At 88 years old, he's heard the word no more than any of us. And you wouldn't know that. When you met him, you'd think that his whole life, because he presents himself in a positive light. He presents himself. He already comes in the room like he's got the job, right? He sits in front of you like he's already got the job. So he's in your head. He's already playing chess, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't even know we had a game going on. So he's persistent. He's positive. He's been kicked. You wouldn't know it. The dust gets brushed off so quick. His suit stays clean. He looks great. He's actually good for me to be around because he keeps me positive. I can be pessimistic at times, right? And he's just kind of a good guy to be around. Huh. And his infectious charm is the reason, this movie got made. He was persistent. He helped shepherd us through this process. Without Charlie Walker, we could have fallen flat so many times.
But what was he like growing up? His family?
Yeah, he grew up with not, much money. I guess the term would just be poor. And he was from Mississippi and he moved out after the Korean War. He joined the service because, that was an out. There were certain outs, athletics or, college or medicine. I mean, what were his opportunities? So, he went into the military and then he, served and in Korea. Yeah. And when he got out, he thought, I don't want to work for a company. I've got leadership skills, he wanted to be his own boss and he knew what he knew. So he became a trucker. He bought a truck with the little bit of money he had. And again, he heard no all the time.
I love his tenacity. It's just so inspiring. And your cast, I mean, come on, you got the guy to play Charlie. How do you even snag him? Because seriously, really?
Well, he liked the material. We were lucky to get Mike Colter. We're lucky to get Safiya Fredericks. Let's Safiya's the boss of the movie. Let's be honest. She's the only one who talks to Charlie a certain way. She's the only one that he answers to. He can charm anybody else, but he can't charm her. She does it all for her, and he does it all for her and the kids. And he knows who he works for. How did we get Mike Colter? He liked the material. The great Robin Lippin, our casting director, got, Carl Lumbly, Dylan Baker, Mike Colter, Monica Barbaro, Emma Caulfield. I mean, look up those names on IMDb. You've got Marvel people. You've got Top Gun 2. You've got Luke Cage. You've got, Selma and Anchorman. I mean, we were fortunate for an indie film to have such great people rally around this material.
In writing the script yourself, were there any moments where you had to think about, is that the way I want to go with it? Or should it go this way? Were there moments for you in that process of writing the story?
Yeah, all moments, because one character like the Walter Sharp character, Stephen Wiig's character, is a combination of maybe 10 people that Charlie described in his book. It's just this force of, America. And the Steve Wiig character is the one character in the movie that goes from this side of the argument and the support of Charlie Walker, like he's with the antagonist, and he says, the hypocrisy doesn't work for me, so I'm shifting, and now I'm Charlie's ally. So he has the biggest arc to being, there is no white savior in this movie. Charlie is his own boss and his own savior, but he does have allies. And since he's sort of in this other, world of complexion, he finds the allies that are friendly to him and supportive of him. And he changes people. He converts people with his philosophy and his he demonstrates it. I want to be on his team.
I want to be Charlie Walker. I mean, the way he can just think ahead and get the moves ahead and actually know what the person might be thinking before they know what they're thinking. And that's really such a special thing to have in the quality. What are you hoping the audience will come away with when we watch this fabulous indie film that you've created?
This story is 50 years old. This is from the 70s. And the fact that in 2022, much of the silly, pointless garbage we still put up with our relations based on complexion and history, it's garbage. It's silly, right? So if this movie is anything, it's a report card for us all to take home and hand to our parents, or look at our own report card and say, this is a pretty bad grade. It's 2022, and I'm watching a 50-year-old story right here, and that's why we made the movie, is because it's relevant today, sadly.
Sadly.
But we can all learn, right? I'm speaking with you. You're speaking with me. I'm grateful for you to be taking interest in this. So this may be part of the...
Yeah. Well, you're right. I'm watching the movie, and I'm just floored by it, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're still experiencing so much of this. And this happened in 1971. And you're right, this is 2022. Why are we in the same cycle? So if this movie can do anything, educating, opening minds and having a dialogue and understanding this has to get better. Thank you so much for this film, for the work you've done in it. And again, I am so happy that I was able to see this film, know about it, and have a moment to chat with you and the cast. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking with us. Great to talk to you.